So I am doing that now at the moment. Just do me a quick favor. Just talk a little bit.
How does my hair look?
Looks just like Toby's, so it's wonderful.
Okay.
Not really, but okay.
You got a good replacement then.
Yeah, it's identical. Both have glasses.
As long as the hair, Bulby.
Exactly. Just
right.
bring the accent hard. You'll be good to go. What is up, everybody, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 14 of the Nintendo PlayStation Podcast. I am Bobby, the Nintendo Guru, joined by my best friend in all the land, F you, Toby, Adam Leonhardt. How are you doing today, Adam?
F you, Toby. Megadads are here. Starting the show like any old Megadad program. You're already getting into the Fs. You got it.
I had to.
You feel comfortable.
I had to. I don't know if you listened to. I don't know if you did listen to last week's episode.
I probably did. I always listen.
Okay,
I can't remember what it was exactly. Well,
it started off with him doing a medley to his best friend Mike Drumming.
Oh yeah. Who's that dude?
And thank you.
Okay.
Who's that dude? Like, seriously. And every week I'm sitting here, best friend in all the land, Toby, and he just cuts me deep. Just cuts me down and breaks my soul.
If it makes you feel any better, I don't have any friends. So I'm here for you, Bobby.
I'm just a paying customer. That's the only reason you talk to me. You're like, you know what? I really don't like
Bobby's messaging. What does he want now? Oh,
yeah.
Man,
your wife's like,
that's a free service. What the hell?
Any other person that messages you in all hours of the night, your wife is like, Adam, this is family time. Knock it off. I message and she's like, you better go answer that. Like,
it's like the friggin' bat phone. Like, I have a special thing just for Bobby Paul's messages.
This is true. This is true. Adam's the only person I know that if I'm like, hey man, can we talk? And you're like, I'm out, but give me a few minutes and I'll be home. And next thing you know, we're on a call.
My kid's at the park and I just hightail it home.
Exactly. So for those that don't know who Adam is, Adam has a little podcast called Megadads that he does with his goofy brother John, and I had to say goofy brother because I figured you would appreciate that if
I thought you were going to call him Jerry.
Well, that too. But yeah, I just figured I'd be nice this time and actually call him by his name. But the goofy part was the dig. You know what I mean? Yeah, Jerry. I usually always call him that. I love Jerry.
Jerry's a good guy.
He is a good guy. So, but you've been doing that for a couple of years now, like 3 years now, right? Something like that?
It's going to be 5.
Get out.
It's that long. It's going to be 5 years in March.
Wow.
March or April. Yeah. Crazy. I've been doing Mega Dads longer than I've actually been a father, which is kind of funny when you think about it. But we knew it was coming, so we're like, let's just preempt this bitch and start up Mega Dads.
We're just gonna be Mega Dads, even though we don't have we don't have no kids. We got them in the oven, but let's just do this thing. That's
an easy anniversary to remember. Then, if it just falls in with the year that my son was born, I'll never forget.
You're right. You're absolutely right. That's true. Adam also does artwork like crazy. All of my artwork. He's the only person I'll let do stuff. Unless I'm getting stuff animated, then I don't mess with Adam.
I'm out. Yep.
Yeah. At that point,
too much time.
Yeah. But Adam does all my artwork. He's done all my artwork for over a year now. Mm-hmm. Anything that I need, if you see any of my logos, you see any of that stuff, hit him up. Maybe he won't have you blocked. And
you want to get into that story?
Let's get that story was hilarious. That was so funny,
and I completely forgot.
Yeah,
I felt so bad. Do you want to tell us? Do we have time?
Oh yeah, we got time.
Okay.
So what happens is, I have Stealth on one of my shows. It's Stealth 40K now. Is his Twitter handle. And I guess because of that, or whatever reason before, Adam was following him. And Stealth does this thing, like, when he starts posting on something, or tweeting on something, he just tweets over and over and over again. And right now, leading up, it was Smash season. Mm-hmm. And every other post was Smash. And Adam was just like, I can't. He actually tweets it out. I can't do this no more. I can't read posts about Smash filling up my feed anymore. I just got to block. I think he even said his name's Stealth.
The funny part is I wasn't following him. It was just every one of my friends on my friends list followed him. So every time they would like one of these posts, it would show up on my feed.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I don't know this dude. And I'm just seeing like 15 Smash posts a day from this guy. Mm-hmm. And I am beyond ignorant when it comes to Twitter. Like I am relatively new with Twitter, and I do it for my art commissions and for Megadad's purposes and stuff like that. And so I'm like, I gotta get rid of these. I can't. Like, I got nothing against the guy. I don't know who he is. I don't have any ill will towards him, but I can't see this. And so I blocked him. And one of my friends, I can't remember who it was, said, you can just mute the guy, right? And I'm like, same difference, right? Like, he doesn't know who I am. He's never gonna know. Like, I'll just leave it blocked. What's the big deal?
So then Stealth comes to me and says, Bobby, I love your artwork. Who does your artwork? And I'm like, oh boy. And I'm like, Adam Leonhardt does my artwork. And he was like, he comes back and he goes, he's got me blocked. And he's like, could you reach out to him and ask him to unblock me so I can talk to him about getting some artwork done? Now, my curiosity is what the hell was that conversation about?
Well, I was just straight with the dude. Like, you messaged me this, and I'm just like, oh, balls. This is gonna be awkward.
Yeah.
And so he ended up emailing me, and he's like, I think you accidentally blocked me.
Yeah, and you just go with it. You're like, oh, yeah, I didn't mean to.
For half a second, that was my mindset. But I was like, no, it wasn't like I was being malicious. I just, I didn't know the guy, and I didn't know a more nice way to just not see his stuff. So I was straight with him. I was like, hey, man, I'm trying to avoid as much Smash info as I can before the game comes out. Nintendo's already told me every friggin' detail about this game. I'm like, I'm overloaded on Smash. Yeah. That's why. It's nothing against you. I will totally unblock you. Let's have this discussion. And he was fine. He was cool about it, but I felt like the biggest dick in the entire world.
So then you're like, let me make it up to you. I'm going to push you ahead of all my other work.
Basically,
and I'll get your stuff done tomorrow.
Basically is what I did. Yeah. Oh man, I felt like such a jerk.
Yeah. He's a good guy. He really is a nice guy. He comes on my podcasts quite often, and I just have a blast with him because he's very knowledgeable in what he is. So I thought that was hilarious, though. But anyway,
that's karma.
It's karma. Let's kick this episode off like you do each and every episode with our Geek Outs. So, Adam, what's up with you? What are you geeking out about? Oh my
god, I am in full on super ultra geek out mode.
We're not allowed to talk about Spider-Man, so go ahead. What are you geeking out about?
You know what, dude? Don't worry, I'm gonna roll some DC in with it.
Okay.
2018 is like the year for superhero multimedia entertainment, and I am eating this crap up with a spoon. I think it was last week or the week before, they had the Elseworlds CW crossover special.
I haven't watched that yet.
Oh my god, you're gonna love it. I'm like a casual DC guy. There's some heroes that I like and some that I think are ultra dorky. But I watch The Flash religiously. That is like a staple in this house. Yeah. And my son is really into it. My wife even enjoys the show, and she doesn't really care about that kind of stuff.
It's because they throw that love stuff in there just enough to make women go like, oh, this is interesting.
It's just such a light, fun serial. You know what I mean? Like it reminds me of back in the day when I used to watch like Buffy or stuff like that, whatever. It's just like a weekly, you get your action, you get your comedy. It's just lighthearted, and it's not much to digest. Yeah. Elseworlds was amazing. Yeah. I think it was their best crossover across all the shows.
They do some phenomenal stuff, man. They really do. They really do. Now,
And then
real quick question for you though.
Mm-hmm.
In that, the only crossovers were Supergirl, Arrow, and Flash.
That's right. Yep.
Is the other one gone?
It's still on the air. I'm not sure why they weren't a part of the crossover.
Yeah.
But it's still on. But yeah, they left the what is it, like the Legends of something or another.
Legends
they left
of
that
Tomorrow
off.
or something like that. Yeah.
Maybe that's why I enjoyed this one a little bit more, because I don't really care for that show much.
I like the characters. I just don't like the show. Like I like Firestorm and all them. I like those characters. I just, I'm not a big fan of that show though. That premise. Yeah. Like when those characters were in Arrow and Flat, I loved it. I was like, I love these characters. But when they kind of went off and did that show, I was just like, yeah, I'm not feeling it, man.
Yeah, so, exactly. That's kind of how I was too. Well, they do such a good job of these, not to go on a tangent on it, but they do such a good job of these crossovers of like self-containing it, where it's like they give you a look at what that show is like, but you never feel like you have to go then and follow them. So you can just watch this big event. And
they've taken the comic book formula and moved it to television.
It's
the same thing. It's the same thing when they would do these huge crossovers. It'd be like, hey, man, I read X-Men. Don't really like Spider-Man that much. But I would get a little taste of Spider-Man and be like, okay. And I didn't feel like I had to go read Spider-Man in order to understand what was going on. You got that little taste. It was like, okay, now he's going back to his book. And I know exactly what you're talking about. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Speaking of Spider-Man, Herschel J. Spider-Man, I took my son to the movie theater for the first time in his life yesterday. And we went to see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
I heard it's good.
Oh my God. Like, not only is it a good movie, just like a movie, but as an artist, my eyes, this entire movie were just scanning the entire frame. It is the most visually stimulating cartoon or CG animated film that I've ever seen.
Really?
Not like fidelity, like the best looking, like realistic or whatever, but the style of it, like the colors, they even put the halftone in, like you're looking at a freaking 1960s comic book.
That's crazy.
And panels are popping up and word bubbles and little thwips come out of their wrists when they shoot their webs. Dude, it is such a treat for the eyes. Like, for somebody who appreciates style or art, even if you're not like a Spider-Man guy, everybody needs to see this movie. It's so good. And my son loved it. 4 years old, sat through the whole thing, didn't make a peep. Perfect.
That's awesome. That's a dream. That's a dream. I remember the first time I went to the movies with my dad. He took me to see Superman, 1978, right?
I think so.
Superman, or 77, whatever year it was, I forget. But it was the first movie I ever saw in the theater, and I adored it, man. And I was like, same thing. Like, my dad was like, I don't know if he's going to make it. Took me to a matinee. He's like, don't say a word. I will smack you down in this theater, boy. And we will. So, I can't wait for Aquaman 2. That's getting huge reviews right now. That looks really good. That's next weekend. I'm pumped. I can't wait for that. You're not really a huge DC guy in the sense, so I don't know that you would buy this service. But man, DC Universe is amazing.
I've heard it's pretty good.
That Teen Titans show is pretty spectacular, man.
Like, really?
Oh my God, it is so
good.
The
Batman Robin dude?
Dude, amazing. Amazing.
Really?
Because what it is, so for me, growing up, this is my Dick Grayson. This is my Batman. This is my era of Batman. Meaning, this is where Dick Grayson kind of gets shunned by Batman and goes off on his own. And he's not Nightwing yet. He's still Robin. And he's converting over to Nightwing. But the funny thing is like, they got Jason Todd in it now. But the funny thing is like, I remember reading the book where Joker almost kills Dick Grayson and Batman benches him and tells him, you're done. I don't need a partner no more. You're done. And then turns around like a few months later and finds this kid on the street, Jason Todd, and brings him in and teaches him how to be Robin. And Dick Grayson kind of has a little issue with it. And he's like, dude, what's going on? That's where Nightwing starts. And then, spoilers, Joker winds up killing Jason Todd a couple of years later, and it's just amazing to see. This is the kind of, because in the comic books you only see the Batman side of it. You don't see the Dick Grayson side. He's very bitter towards Batman. So when I saw that trailer, I got excited because I was like, this is the Dick Grayson that I remember being a kid. Like, you could tell he's bitter. He just got benched and he's pissed. So for me, this is like, I love that show though. That show is really good. And they got some animated stuff. They got a Harley Quinn animated show coming out. That's really, really funny. That actually pokes fun at DC and stuff. Like, they take shots at themselves. What scares me with DC in this whole thing is Aquaman being as good as it is. They're in this weird sense right now where they have to reboot.
Yeah.
And they're going to reboot because they're losing their Batman and their Superman. It makes me...
Is that confirmed?
That's confirmed. They're not coming back. They're done. They're done.
Wow.
Which upsets me a little bit because I love them both. I think they're great actors. I was happy with their portrayal of their characters. But what worries me a little bit is, do you lose? You can't. I don't want to lose because you got Shazam coming too, and like, I don't want to lose, Aquaman and Wonder Woman and all that. But it's like, and I really don't want to lose the Flash because I like the Flash in the other. But I think they're going to do like a Flash Point type thing where they kind of,
Suddenly they find themselves in the same position as like the X-Men movies where they're like in between. Do we want to be like Deadpool? Do we want to be the Patrick Stewart? Or do we want to be the new young? Like, they don't know where they are and they're kind of doing everything and it's just a mess.
Yeah.
But I agree. I mean, I haven't liked anything that Zack Snyder has done, but I think Aquaman looks awesome. I've heard Wonder Woman is great. I haven't watched it. But at the same time, we've got this new Joker movie coming out, which is clearly completely removed from the Snyderverse, which is supposed to look really, interesting and unique take. And I don't know what DC is doing. They're just kind of throwing things around and seeing what sticks. But I hope they figure it out because I don't have anything against the universe. No. I mean, personally, Dark Knight, if you ask me, is the greatest superhero movie ever made.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. I think
I love the characters. It's just,
think
there's
that
so
and the
many
Winter
different directions.
I believe the Dark Knight and Winter Soldier are the two best comic book movies ever. Because to me, what makes a great comic book movie is you remove the characters, and it's still a great movie.
Exactly.
And it doesn't have to be a Batman movie. It could be a cop movie, and it would be an amazing story. And the same thing with the Winter Soldier. It doesn't have to be a Captain America movie. It could just be a espionage. Like, I could see that being like a Mission Impossible type movie, and it would totally work. You know what I mean? So I love those movies. I thought they were great. But anyway, so what I'm geeking out about is I've gone pretty hog wild the past 2 weeks, and buying stuff like a madman. And I got so much stuff that I bought. So I have a new chair.
Oh, snap.
OPC. I got that. N64 Josh actually introduced me to them, kind of like pushed me that way. Dude, this seat is amazing. It's so
it's OP.
It is OP. It is OP.
Yeah.
And
you're down with OP. Right? Is that what it is?
OPP.
Oh,
I'm down with.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's close. It's close. So the other thing is the lights behind me. This is my true geek out. So, oh my God, dude. Let me tell you what. If I'm streaming, they can change midstream. Controlled by the viewers.
What?
This is crazy. So, my boy Rybo, I talk about him a lot. Guy is amazing. I have the Philip Hughes here. And I went to him and I was like, hey man, I saw that this website that you and I use to run the Discord and stuff, it actually works the Hughes. I'm like, is it possible that we set this up that people can actually change the things during stream? He's like, give me a little bit. Let me do some research. I'll get back to you. He has the Philip Hughes as well. He's at work, self-remotes into his house computer, starts messing with things, and he was like, I ran some tests and it should work. And I was like, okay. So that night, I come home, I stream, get done, and what I do is I actually turn this spotlight off, and then the light from the TV is enough to light me up. So you see me, and then you see the lights behind me.
Dude.
If someone follows me, they turn to this color. When I normally stream, they're red. It's full red. So when someone follows me, it turns to blue and red like the Joy-Cons. If someone subscribes to me, they just start slowly dimming in and out and fading, changing colors. All because there's 4 lights behind me. Everyone grabbing different colors, so the room is kind of like changing the aura.
What? Like a nightclub.
It's crazy, dude. If someone gives me bits, or they call it cheering, they go to Splatoon colors, and they start flashing. Right? And then the best is if I get a raid, which means someone brings all their viewers to my channel as they're signing off. The lights start flashing, right? And they start doing you start to hear the Star Trek red alert. And it's like that boing, like that. Yeah. It starts playing in your ears. Amazing, dude. So for
your life, Bobby.
Oh, it's amazing, dude. It's the best. Like the greatest thing is like I'm like, hey Rybo, can you do this? And he's like, let's find out. Let's see. And then next thing I know, like this is the crazy thing, Adam. I get done streaming. Like we were having an issue where, because when someone does those things, it also a GIF pops up and says like whatever the GIF will be. Like I have when the raid happens, there's like a battlefield happening, and all of a sudden you see my head coming out of the sky and hits the planet, and then like an explosion happens. It's amazing, right? So they call it
like a summon spell.
Yeah. They call it the Bobby Bomb, and so it hits, and you see this eruption, like this nuclear blast happening and stuff, and but they weren't triggering right. What was happening was this generic one of a shark dancing was popping up for all of them. So when we changed the lights, it screwed it up for some reason. So I'm like, I'm sitting here, right? It's just me. I'm not streaming. I'm not hooked into anything. The computer is on, but I'm playing. I'm just playing Smash. And all of a sudden my lights start blinking. And I'm like, what the hell's going on, man? Why are the lights blinking? Then they start changing colors. I'm like, what the hell is happening, right? Like 5 minutes go by and I get a text from Robo. I fixed everything. And I'm like, he's still working on this stuff. Yeah, he's like hacking in, like change the. I'm waiting for the day where he's just like, my coffee pot just walks into my bedroom and tells me to get up because Rybo's hacked it to do something crazy. So
he's sitting out in the van out in the corner right in front of your house.
Yeah, he's from Canada, and I think the FBI needs to get dibs on this guy, figure out where he's at and what he's doing, because he's Edward Snowden level. It's crazy. So all right, so we got 2 topics that we're going to bring today. I don't know whether you want to do your topic first or I'll do mine. Do you have a preference?
You're the boss, man.
Okay. So let's go in. We'll start with my topic. We'll go with the Nintendo topic first. So there's this rumor that Nintendo is going to bring a Pro Switch or a Switch 2.0, whatever. It hasn't really been officially named or anything by Nintendo because they're kind of ignoring this. If they were to bring one out, you and I are both very early adopters to the Switch. I'm day one, you're day one.
Yep.
And you're a little bit different, and this is why I kind of brought it up to you. Meaning because you have family, kids, and for you to spend money on an upgrade, there's got to be something behind it. There's not just like, oh, this is new and pretty, I'm going to buy it. There's got to be a reason for you to buy something, especially a console that you don't play as much as your other consoles. You do play the Switch, but it's not as often as your PS4 and your Xbox One. Only because Nintendo doesn't do a lot of walking simulators and stuff, and that's, they do real games, not that garbage stuff. So,
I think you might have me confused with my other brother.
Well, it doesn't matter. You're all the same to me. It's just... Okay. So my question is what does it take to get Adam Leonhardt to upgrade to the Switch Pro?
Oh, well, that's a good question.
What are some wants? What are some needs? What are some things that make you go like, I'm in?
When it comes to the console itself, I'm really happy with what it does. My grievances with my Switch in regards to like the actual physical Switch itself are kind of just like the build of it, in the sense that I can't play this thing portable without my hands getting really, really uncomfortable. I am a dock guy all the way. I play on my TV all the time. But the newest game that I got, which we'll talk about later, I was playing it handheld just to try it. I always try it with all my games just to see like what the difference is. And there's no grip. I know you've got that really cool
Satisfy grip.
Satisfy grip.
I'm telling you, that's the way to go. Because I was the same way. Like you hold that Switch in your hands, and it's like, oh, it starts to cramp up. Like especially like right in here, I will start to cramp up. But with the Satisfy grip, when I tell you, my preferred way to play now is handheld because of that thing. It's comfortable, so comfortable.
So I would like to see something on the back of this Switch, something that gives it a little bit more shape, so that it's more comfortable in the hands. I also would love a glass screen. My screen got scuffed, within months of owning the Switch. It not bad, but just in and out of the dock, there's some wear there, so it's it's got some scuffs on it. So I would just like a more professional shell to this console. Everything that's inside works for me. I'm totally fine. I understand that there's not going to be a lot of hard drive space for like the size of it and all that stuff. That doesn't bother me. I'm totally fine with buying a card when I get to that point, which I still am not. I'm still just running on the internal memory of my Switch.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't get a lot digital on the Switch, and I think that's part of the reason why is because I don't want to maximize that hard drive space. But really, it's just like I don't feel comfortable holding it. That right Joy-Con thumbstick is so low down when you don't have anything to really grab onto that it's just not comfortable. So if they were to modify, if the Pro of the Pro Switch was the body of the system, I would be happy with that, and I probably would get one.
Yeah. So the thing for me is, and this is why I like the Satisfy grip so much, is everything you're complaining about, this fixes. So the advantage is it kind of offsets a little bit. So your thumbs line up identical with the analog sticks. You don't even realize it until you're playing. And then it's like, oh, wow, it's right there. Like, it's amazing. This thing is, okay. I encourage everybody, if you don't have one, look into it. Get one. They are super spectacular, man. They are. I'm telling you, it's the only way I play handheld anymore. I will not play just with I literally have it next to my dock, and I grab it and drop it in when I'm, when I grab it to go on the go, then I drop it in there, and
easy in and out.
Oh, it slides in and out perfectly, no problems. It's amazing, man. The best money I ever spent on the Switch, best accessory that I have for the Switch, hands down. So I definitely strongly recommend that. But like, as far as like upgrades and stuff in terms of power and stuff, is there anything you're looking for? Like, everybody's like, oh, it's going to be 4K. It's not going to be 4K.
It's not going to be 4K.
Let's relax, people. Like, please. It took Nintendo like 20 years to even make HD. Like,
right.
Like,
there's no way. There's no way.
Yeah.
I mean, I am a complete graphics whore, so yeah, I would love that. If we're talking like just dreams, I see everybody tweeting about Smash, which I don't have. I mean, it's under my tree. I'm getting it for my kid for Christmas. Shh. But like when I look at all of my Nintendo games, and I'm a huge Nintendo fan, but I'm like I'm a Nintendo first party guy. So I'm a Mario guy, I'm a Zelda guy, I'm a Star Fox guy, that kind of thing. And then I go over to my PlayStation and I play like God of War, and it's like, obviously it's a different aesthetic, it's a different art style, so you're never gonna get that hyper realism. But dude, I play Breath of the Wild and I just dream of a day when it looks comparable to like a Horizon Zero Dawn or whatever. I would love for that. It's not gonna happen in the Switch era. There's no way. So I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm happy with the performance. I've never played a Switch game and thought, oh, this is slow or laggy or ugly. Nintendo knows how to work with what they've got.
Yeah.
I would like the operating system to be a little flashier. I kind of miss the days of like the Wii when it had the catchy music or the channels. I miss the channels. I was the guy who would go into the meat contests and
I did too, yeah.
all those extra bells and whistles that Nintendo used to bring to just the home screen.
Yeah.
And I turn on my Switch and it's just boring, like there's just nothing there. That's kind of a minor thing, but that's the kind of thing that excites me with Nintendo is that charm that they used to bring to everything. And now you fire on your Switch and it's a few squares. There's no sound at all. There's no music playing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think a lot of that was how bad the Wii U operating system was. That they were like, let's just go bare minimum. I really thought, I'll be honest with you, I thought this is what we're getting out the gates. They'll fix this. This will get changed pretty quickly. Yeah. And it hasn't happened yet. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy that they haven't fixed the core essentials to this thing. Like, the eShop is the biggest criminal to me. Like,
it's an embarrassment.
That's horrendous. They got, at this point, it's got to be 1,500 games on the Switch. I think like 3 months ago, they were sitting at 1,200. And it's like, you got almost 1,500 games, and people can't find them. And I get, you could search them. But that's the problem. There's so many games, I don't know what's there, what's not.
Right.
Like, a prime example is Stick of Truth. I didn't even realize that was in the eShop yet. And it was there, it's up, and I was like, one day Sean and we get done recording, I'm like, man, when is Stick of Truth coming? He's like, dude, I think it's already out. I look it up, there it is, and I'm like, I totally missed this. I totally missed it. This is out already. So it's crazy to see that. To me, that's part of the problem. I wish they would do a couple of things to the OS, because I like where you're going with that. Is one, I would love a startup sound. That would be amazing, because they've had some of the more memorable startup sounds over history. The GameCube one, the Wii.
Oh yeah.
Wii U wasn't that great, but it was kind of cool. But I would love the Wii. I would love the eShop of the Wii U, because I felt like that was spectacular. Especially the music playing in the background. Like this time of year, I'd actually turn it on and leave it on because it was playing Christmas music.
Yeah.
It was so great. But I would like the arrangement of the 3DS, meaning you could change the way your grid is. You had themes, so you could put, rather than just black and white, you could actually put themes in there. That to me would be awesome. I would love that to have. As far as, let's be honest, I'm buying the thing no matter what it is.
You're buying too.
And that's probably, and that's why I posed the question to you, because I'm in. There's no way that I'm not. It doesn't matter what it is. I bought the 3DS, the new 3DS, when that came out, and it was a nub stick. It was basically what I was buying. There wasn't a whole lot that I was like, this thing, technology wise, it wasn't a huge leap, but I was just like, I'm in. For me, I would like the screen to be 1080. I would like to play with a 1080 screen on it. I would like it to be a little bit more powerful. It doesn't have to be massively powerful, but a little bit more powerful to kind of take that next step up. Because I feel like right now they're getting a lot of third-party games, and especially they're starting to get a lot that are day and date with the other guys. Mortal Kombat is one that comes to mind. I just don't know how Mortal Kombat's going to look.
That the new one's coming to Switch?
The new one's coming to Switch. Yeah, day and date. Day and date.
What a world we live in, right? Holy crap.
Nuts, right? Nuts. But for me, like, when I look at games that are done by, like, Bethesda, like, I look at those games and I go, holy crap, dude, they're, like, dead on to what the games are. You know what I mean? Like, they're doing a good job in porting those games over, that you can't really notice that much of a difference. So I would like to give them just a little bit of a bump to go, okay, we're keeping up with the things. Because my biggest fear is they're going to need, I would say, 2 more bumps, maybe even 3, in order to keep up to when PlayStation and Xbox hit their next one. And again, I don't feel like they have to be on par with those. They have to be close enough that third parties go, this isn't a chore to make this port.
Well, that's just it. I mean, you look at it and they have probably like a 2-year window of when Microsoft and Sony make that leap.
Yeah.
And then there's no way that those are going to be very similar ports to the Switch. They'll still be ports to the Switch because they've proven there's money to be made there.
Yeah.
But there's going to be much bigger concessions made in regards to like fidelity and game. You know, it'll be like the 360 to the Wii. You know, like when you'd have a Call of Duty on 360 and then you go and play it on Wii, and it's like, oh, this is clearly a different game. So it's weird because I was just talking about this to John on our last episode of the podcast, where if you asked me at the launch of the Switch how long that system had, I'm on record of saying this is going to be a 5-year system, and then they're going to have to do something to compete with 4K.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't know if that's the case, because they've proven that the what do I want to say here? The nature of bringing it with you. Those concessions aren't as big of a deal to gamers. So it's like, it's like Netflix. Netflix is never going to look as good as a 4K Blu-ray, but people don't care because it's easy. It's easy, it's simple, it's right there. Yeah. So now I don't know what the future looks like for the Switch. I don't know that Nintendo is too worried about fidelity, because they've clearly got gamers where they want them with this take it on the go. Yeah. And that's working huge for them. So I don't know. I don't know if they're really concerned about going 4K.
I think your comparison is dead on, because I remember when Blu-rays were coming out and I was getting them, and that was just when Apple was starting to push into streaming and downloadable and digital. And I remember Steve Jobs saying, you don't need Blu-ray. Blu-ray is garbage. It's not the future. The future is streaming. The future is digital. And I was sitting there thinking, like, you're an idiot, dude.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? Blu-rays will never go away. The quality is so much better. But like you said, here I am now. I don't play Blu-ray movies. I don't buy Blu-ray movies because I enjoy digital. And I'm just like, the convenience of it. I could be anywhere and have it like that. And it's like, the quality is a little bit less, but doesn't matter to me. I have it wherever I want it, and that's the win of this all. So I think that's a great comparison, honestly, to what this is. I mean, let's be honest. I have never and will never play Fortnite on my phone, but I love Fortnite on the Switch, and I play it all the time. And I'm actually afraid to play Fortnite on my Xbox because I'm afraid I won't be able to go back to the Switch.
Yeah, that's my problem.
Yeah, it's because when you're up in the air and you could see everything clearly below, for me now, like the other day, I was coming up over and I looked down on the ground and there was these little. I'm playing with Joseph Moran, and I'm like, Joseph, why is there cones in it? Is that a path we're supposed to follow? And I was like, all of a sudden it started rising, and it's the towers, the telephone or the power towers, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's not what it was. So for me, I feel like it's a solid port. I'm happy with it, but I also recognize playing something comparable on a more powerful console is going to hurt me in terms of very difficult to go back.
Right.
But I love what they've done. And then you think about it, like, kids are so into Fortnite, they don't care what it looks like. It's about the game itself. And so when you think about it and you go like, hey man, they put it on the Switch, that's going to drive sales to the Switch because kids want to play it on the go, but they get the more home console feel to it. Like, I remember watching a Twitter video from Kevin Smith, right? Him and Jason Mewes are going to some place. They just got off the airplane. They're driving to some place to go to their show, Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. They do a podcast, a live podcast every single week. They're driving, and here's Kevin Smith is doing his video, right? And he's like, "This is how you know the marriage is in trouble." And he pans to the back, and here's Jason Mewes in the back seat, headset on, playing Fortnite, right, while driving, and he's talking to his friends, I guess through Discord. I don't know. He plugged in. He's playing through the app or through the game, and he's ignoring Kevin Smith, and he's playing Fortnite, and he's like, and I'm like, dude, that is the dream.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the dream, to be able to be like, I'm going to just tether it to my phone, power it up, and go. I mean, I was doing it in L.A. Me and Jules watched them. We're at E3. I had my Ojo up on the wall. I had the phone tied to it, so it was powering it and giving it internet and playing Fortnite every single morning. Me and Jules would wake up every morning and play, and it was like, it's the best thing ever, man. It's awesome. So let Adam, let's jump into your topic. What did you bring today?
I wanted to discuss with the guru VR. VR is having a kind of unexpected moment right now, specifically on the PlayStation side. They got that price, and they finally have games that are worth playing. And I don't know about you, but my Twitter over the last month, specifically since like Black Friday, has been blowing up with people saying that they bought into this bundle. In November, I believe it was November, we did our Extra Life. My brother brought over his PSVR, and I played Astrobot, and it blew my flipping mind. And I am on record, if I don't get that thing for Christmas, I'm going out January 1st and getting it. Mind-blowing experience. I don't know how up to date you are with the offerings on PSVR, but here's my question. This is what it boils down to: is while they are having a bump for sure, this thing is long in the tooth already, and PlayStation 4 is coming to a close. It's glaringly obvious, as they are not doing PSX, they're not doing E3, they're not talking really about any new games other than a small handful. They're getting ready to transition. What does the future of VR look like? What does it take to make this bump like a for sure staple of the PS5? What does this landscape look like to someone like you who you're? I mean, I guess I don't even really know your opinion. I've heard you talk about PSVR a little bit and VR in general, but I don't really know, like a casual gamer, what does it take for you to be interested in VR? Is the problem messaging? Like, you can't
definitely messaging.
You can't advertise the experience properly without putting it on someone's face.
Yeah, think about it. It's the problem that Nintendo had with the Wii U. The games were fantastic. The fun was there, but there was no way to translate what it was. With the Switch, it's click, done. You got it. You get it the minute you see it. With VR, it's like, wait a minute. I got to put this big thing on my face. I got these cords coming down the back. Like, what is
even like on? your brain completely understanding what it is versus you experiencing it. You cannot put into words how jarring that is. Because you can explain to somebody what VR is, and they're like, oh yeah, I get it, I understand. But then you get them to play it. My wife, who is not a gamer at all, she tried this Astrobot out on Extra Life, and she was laughing her head off. She was losing her mind. She doesn't play games. And she took this thing off, and she was like, that was unbelievable.
But here's the problem, Adam. You're talking about Astrobot. What else is there? And that's the problem. Everything else is tech demos. And there's a few games that are actual games. But for me, when I look at it, I have three major problems with especially PSVR. The one is a huge problem. My biggest problem with VR altogether is they have no data at all if this is damaging our eyes or not. And all through history, we've always been told, you don't sit close to the television. You don't sit close because it'll damage your eyes, right?
Yep.
And what I do know about VR is, and this is why VR will never be on the Nintendo Switch right now, because what VR basically does is it tricks your mind and your eyes into thinking it's looking far out, but it's not. It's the screen is right here up against your eyes. But because of the fidelity, it gets away with it. But I also read that if it flickers and you get pixels, it can mess you up. So my fear is, one, is the PSVR truly powerful enough to keep that from happening? That's number one. Number two, I don't know that I trust Sony and Lucky Palmer to tell me that this is okay. I feel like I don't want to be an early adopter to something that can mess with my eyes. This is just me personally speaking. Your kids can't play it because they're too young. Their eyes aren't developed enough to play it. Because I think it's like 13 or whatever that they say. Maybe 9.
I slapped that thing on Elliot.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to, man. His eyes are so immature.
He's been vomiting nonstop ever since, but I thought that was unrelated.
No, it's they really say you can't. There's an age on it, and the reason why is their eyes are so early in it developing. It takes. Right. Yeah, man. Seriously, you need to look into that. That's not a joke. That's dead serious. So, for me, that's number one. So I would rather let the guinea pigs go and play first, and then in 15, 20 years, be like, no, this is good. We're good to go. But by the way, in 15, 20 years, we'll be getting the Marios, the Mario Karts, the things like that in 3D. I feel like the problem that Sony's having is they are treating this like the Vita. Meaning, I feel like this is their last push. And if this thing doesn't take off, there is no PS5. This is like PlayStation Move. This is like Vita. Sony is so wishy-washy. This is where I don't like Sony. This is what I don't like about Sony. Is if something isn't making them money, go on.
Yeah.
Where Nintendo, something could not be making them money, and man, they'll go down with that sinking ship to just try to prove that it can work. And sometimes you get the 3DS that writes itself and comes out and becomes one of the best handhelds you ever had. When that 3DS first started, if that was Sony, it'd have been done. It would have been done. But Nintendo didn't give up on it. They kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And eventually it course corrected and we had a great handheld. So the third thing is those cables, man. How are they expecting you to play a game when like you can't really turn around? You know, and it's like
right
because like so I have played VR. I'm not gonna act like I haven't. You know what I mean? Like I played it one time, went to my buddy Miguel's house when he first got it, and I enjoyed the experience. My eyes, it didn't hurt my eyes. I didn't get headaches. What I felt like when I stopped playing, I had pain over my eyes and under my eyes and like on the sides, but it wasn't a pain like hurting. It was similar to, this is what I liken it to. It's similar to like when you go to the gym for the first time in years and you're using muscles you forgot you had. That's what I felt like. It felt like my eyes were being used like it had never done in years.
So what platform of VR were you trying at your friend's house?
I was actually playing, it was the PS VR.
Okay.
So it was the PlayStation VR. So I hated the idea of like the big cords because he was playing this shark game.
Oh, the Shark Tank thing? Yep.
Yeah, and like he's trying to turn around because there's stuff coming up behind him and stuff, and the shark's like swimming around the tank, and I'm like, oh man, he's gonna rip that he's gonna pull that PS4 right off the table and stuff. Yep. So I feel like that's a problem. Like they need to find a way that's cohesive for that, so that way it's not, you know, you're not tugging on the thing at all times.
So it sounds to me like you're looking for like the next evolution to prove the theory of this being a viable marketing.
Yeah. And I feel like it's Here's the thing. I don't think that PlayStation is the company to do it. And the reason why I say that is exactly like I said before. They're very like short-sighted in terms of they have to make money right now or they're out. Right. And I feel like this is a very PlayStation moment for them, where what they'll try to do is they'll try to bundle it all together maybe in the beginning of PS5. And then once they realize, and I'm not saying they'll actually announce it, I'm just saying at the table, they're going to sit there and they're going to be like, this has to be in every PS5. Mm-hmm. But then when they put the numbers together and they realize it's going to be an $800, $900 console, they're going to back out.
It's going to be the Kinect all over again for the Xbox One?
Yeah, and they're gonna pull it out and they're gonna be like, this isn't gonna work. We can't do this, and done deal. Right. And I feel like that was the way. Like if you think back, that was the way that they backed out of Move. Xbox did the Kinect, all built in, and then PlayStation was gonna have the camera built in, and then they pulled it out. And they pulled it out and lowered the price by $100, and that helped them jumpstart, So
I think it's really tricky because VR, the only way to guarantee that VR is a thing moving into the next generation is to prove it this generation. Mm-hmm. The problem with doing it this generation is that the technology isn't quite there to be a mass marketable product as it will be next generation.
Yes.
So but it's
that's where I feel like when I say that Sony's not the company to do it,
mm-hmm.
I feel like we're in a situation where Oculus is the company that'll do it, but Oculus doesn't have the games to do it. Meaning They're not a true game company. So it's one of those things of, if I'm a developer, do I make the game for Oculus or do I make the game for Sony? At least with Sony, they're a game company. It's a more affordable VR thing. But am I being limited? Now, I know, like when I went to E3, I went to the Sony booth. I actually went up into the VR section.
The big old avenue row of VR, yeah.
And I went upstairs and I met with Klaus of Zoink Games, because I know Klaus. And as we were sitting there was people playing. Zoink is working on a new VR game. And Klaus, from the very beginning, I know is like, he's into this. Like he's like, we're making games in VR. Like it's happening. So there's some developers out that are very much so like Klaus and like Zoink that are like, this is exciting to them because this is new uncharted territory and we're gonna get in and we're gonna try this stuff. But I don't think that it's anything ready yet. I think there's still some time to go. Now. Yeah. Well, like we talked about that, was it Astro Boy? Is that the game?
Astrobot, yeah.
Astrobot. I feel like, again, that's what Sony needs. If Sony starts banging out games like that, we change the whole spectrum of things. And all of a sudden, now people are buying it. Right now, I think people will buy a lot because they're hearing how great this game is. But I think what's going to happen, and I think if you do get it for Christmas, you're going to find out very quickly that it's like, hey, this is awesome. What's next? And then there's nothing next.
Right. I mean, this holiday is pretty. I mean, as far as the life of PSVR right now, they've got their best outlook. They've got Moss, they've got Astrobot, they've got Beat Saber just released, and then this Tetris game just released. So that's 4 for the holiday, which is good for this holiday.
Yeah. You
look back at the life of the PSVR, and there's been a game here or there, which, like you said, were more like tech demos. Now we're at the point where they're full-fledged games. I really hope that they stick with it. I know Sony has a shit record of seeing peripherals through the iToy and like the Move and the Aim. They do. They're terrible at that. Yeah. But I'm not gonna lie, I was lukewarm on VR until just a month ago, and that experience I had was amazing. So I really want this medium to move forward. I really hope that it does, but I'm also realistic, and I know that they have a lot to prove for this to be a viable thing to sell. Yeah. But I really hope that they do, man, because it was really quite the experience.
It just, to me, it just seems so bulky in terms of like not even just the unit itself, like all the cables going to your, like, it's just so inadequate in my opinion. But when I used it, I thought it was really, like you say, it's really ingenious. There was a demo that I was using where it was a shooting gallery, and like I had to move the two PlayStation Move sticks in my hand, and you would reach down, open a drawer, grab a gun, then grab a clip, and then put them together, and then you would shoot, and you could feel a little reverb off of it, like you're shooting. Like that, to me, unbelievable. And there is no experience like that in gaming. So I think if, you know, and people have said to me before, like, oh, if Nintendo put out VR, you would jump on it. I don't know. My number one fear is the tech going to hurt my eyes. Yeah. And people when I bring that up, people are like, "Oh, you're an idiot. You're crazy." Listen,
it's a viable concern.
It's a legit concern, man. You know, like I give me times in my life I've seen the government or companies tell us that this is okay, only to find out 5 years. Like, think about it. How long ago was it that they were like vaping is the way of the future, like smoking is done, and now they're going vaping might be worse for you than smoking cigarettes.
Right.
It's like, come on, man. Like, I'm supposed to trust these guys that are trying to sell something? Not me, man. Not me.
You're just protecting your peepers. It's okay.
Listen, you got bad eyes as it is. I understand.
I do. I'm already screwed, man. It's too late for me.
But here's my question to you.
Yep.
Did you play with your glasses on, or did you take them off?
I had them on.
Okay. And was it comfortable enough for you?
Yeah. I mean, the PSVR headset is kind of known as being the most comfortable of all the headsets.
That is true. Yes.
The thing that they are a step back on is that it doesn't create a complete seal over your face. So like when you have the guy, you look daylight. But when you're really immersed in the game, it's not very distracting. When you're looking straight on or you're looking to the sides, your peripherals, you don't notice it. Yeah. But it's not a complete seal. And I'm sure that's a concession of making it, you know, adjustable and comfortable. But yeah, I played with my glasses on and it was totally fine.
That's awesome. Like, this thing I know is perfect for your brother, you know, because he likes just walking around nowhere. Like, if they put Dream Daddy on that game, he's not coming out of the basement.
You don't even want to know where that Move controller is going.
Exactly. Okay. We're done with this topic now.
You don't want to edit that out.
No. We're not editing that out. That's
Peace
perfect.
Out, Preston.
Exactly. Real quickly, let's wrap up. We got a couple minutes on us. I just want to talk about some games that we've been playing. I'll start with you. What's some stuff that you've been playing that you like?
I have just started playing Katamari Damacy Reroll on my Nintendo Switch. Bobby, are you proud of me?
That's awesome. Wish you were playing a better game, but go ahead.
Oh, dude, have you ever played this game?
Nah, it doesn't. Okay, so this interests me.
It's a remaster of a 14-year-old PlayStation 2 game,
yes.
which I loved, and it looks like, you know, an HD PS2 game. So it's not gonna, you know, it's not eye candy or anything, but it's got this dopey abstract humor of where you're this little guy who's shot down from space, and you're tasked with rolling up as much crap as you can to this sticky ball. And the game starts where you're really miniature, you're like tabletop size, and you're picking up paper clips and erasers. But by the end of the game, you're rolling up buildings and mountains and castles and elephants and dinosaurs. And it's stupid, weird mid-90s Japanese comedy, which I love. I mean, the game is what it is, but it's just funny. You know, it's just a blast. I was
wondering why everybody was making a big deal about it. And I didn't realize, I mean, you weren't the one that just led me on to, but I think it was about a week or two ago when the game actually launched. I think it just launched this week. Just before the game launched, actually, that I realized it's a PS2 game. And that's why people are getting excited about it. And I was like, okay, that makes sense now. Because I was just like, when I first heard it, I was like, where's this thing coming from?
Yeah, it came out in the age of where Sony was actually doing some weird experimental imports from Japan. They had a lot like Mr. Mosquito, and then there was this, and just a lot of weird stuff where people were still, you know, into that Japanese, you know, when the West wasn't making the best stuff, right?
Yes.
So it came out in that time where your brain was just like, what am I even playing? How did this come out over here?
Yeah.
And it's a nostalgia trip for me because, like I said, this is a 14-year-old game, and I'm playing it on my Switch, and I'm loving it. It's great.
That's pretty awesome.
Cheap game, $30.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I've been playing two things. Well, I'll say one, and then I'll throw one. Do you have anything else you've been playing, or is that it?
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing else worth talking about.
Two things. I've been playing Octopath. Like, I mean, obviously I'm playing Smash.
Really?
Okay, so I'm not whatever, but everybody's been playing Smash, so that's not a shocker. But besides Smash, Octopath Traveler, I love this game, man. I am so addicted to it. It's not even funny.
First time through, or are you going back?
This is the first time I played it.
Oh, nice.
So I bought it when it first came out, just never touched it. And I was just like, I don't have the time. I don't, and holy crap, man. I am in love. So in love with this game. It is just throws me back to an era that I loved RPGs. Final Fantasy 3 in the United States, 6 in Japan is my jam. That's my favorite Final Fantasy of them all. And it just gives me a lot of that, like that awesomeness to go. And then the other thing I've been playing a lot of is Fortnite, and I can't get enough of that game, man.
You're still in it, huh?
Oh my god, I love it so much.
I find myself going back like every 2 or 3 weeks, and I'll play pretty consistently for a week, and then I'll step away again. And I'm always blown away with what they're adding to this game.
Oh my god, dude!
And how quickly they do it. Because when I pick it up after a 2-week hiatus, it's like a totally different game.
You're absolutely right. It totally they put the planes in now.
There's planes now?
They're planes now, dude. And there's a certain section that's winter, and it's all snowy and stuff. But the planes, it's so before, I guess, and you would have known because you played it from the jump. Tilted was the place that everybody went. Now they're going up to this bunker in the snow because that's where all the planes are. Now there's planes sporadic throughout the map as well, but like the bunker has like 4 or 5 of them. So a lot of people will go there because it's easy, you know where it is, and you go. Plus, there's a lot of good weapons up there too, similar to Tilted, where Tilted is good because there's a lot of chests, a lot of weapons. But man, it is unbelievable, and the planes are very easy to fly. Obviously, you can't fly them the whole game because the storm shrinks, the circle shrinks, and but like I'm watching like YouTube videos on this stuff, like watching Ninja picking people off in the planes out of the sky, and it's like you're not the planes are powerful, but like you're not immune up there.
Yeah.
And like I watched, there's another YouTuber or a Twitch streamer that I really like. His name was Nick Merckx. This kid is unbelievable at this game, and I like him better than Ninja. Ninja to me doesn't have the personality. He's a great player, but he's just a little bit not. But Nick Merckx is just this cocky, just a little bit arrogant, but not in a bad way, but just like he knows he's good. And I love it. And he's the type of guy like gets hyped up. I was watching him during one of the tournaments, and he got on this run where it was like kill, 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 and all of a sudden he like jumps up in his chair because the crowd's going nuts in the arena. He jumps out of his chair and he's screaming and stuff. It's like this is this is my dude, man. I like this guy.
What's your skill level at this game? Are you really good at this
No,
game?
I suck.
See, that's my problem. Is I'm terrible at the game. I love playing it.
Yeah,
but I'm awful at it.
I can hold my own. I can. My biggest problem is I get my own head. I can't build for crap.
Yeah.
So that's part of the problem. But I get my own head. I'm the type of player that I would rather sit back and pick you off with a sniper rifle. Because I can do that. I can hit somebody from a good distance away. But I can do damage. There's times, like last night, I'll go on these runs where when I'm on stream, I can never do anything. I just, I don't know whether it's the pressure. Well, I also, there's a lag. The way my setup is, what I'm hearing is a little behind what I'm seeing, and it throws me off sometimes. But when I'm just playing, straight up playing, and I have the sound on the TV on, I could play better. Last night, I was playing, and I was just, like, taking people out. And, like,
nice.
up close, just wrecking them because I'm hearing them coming. I know they're there in real time. A lot of times I don't hear them, and I'm seeing on screen that I'm getting shot, and then I hear it in my ear I'm getting shot. I'm like, oh, damn. By the time I turn around, I'm already dead, and it's over. Yeah. Which isn't cohesive. But, like, when I play by myself, or I play with, like, Joseph Moran, and it's not on stream, and I'm actually plugged directly into the Switch, and we're going off the sound where it's real time, I'm a little bit better. I don't have the confidence to charge a battle. Mm-hmm. Like, Joseph... we're on a scene, and I look over, and he's running into a battle, and I'm like, holy crap, dude, like, where are you going? Like, let's think about this first. Let's let them kill each other out a little bit. Yeah, let them guys kill each other out a little bit, and he's like, nope, I'm going in, and I'm like, oh my god. And then I'm like, a lot of times, it's funny, because we'll be playing, and we're playing on stream, and I will have like, maybe it's just me and him doing duos, or we'll have a squad, and the squad will be getting eaten up, and I just run the other way, and I'm just running, and then, like, they're like, I'm down, I need to pick up Bobby, I need to pick up. I'm like, I'm too far away, I can't touch you now, and I'm going, and then, you know, because when they die, now they're on my screen, and they're like, why are you running the other way, man? I'm like, because I want to live, I'm not ready to die. And then I'll take off the other way. But I like the game. I like the game a lot. I think it's a lot of fun.
Yep.
So
for sure.
That is all. Thank you guys for listening to an episode of Nintendo PlayStation Podcast. Adam, thank you for filling in this week.
This was a lot of fun.
Oh man, this was a blast. This was better than when I do it with Toby. I had you know,
of course. Yeah.
Toby, you're replaced. I'm not going to talk to you no more.
America.
Yeah. You go talk to Michael, your best friend, and I'm going to sit here with Adam, and we'll just keep doing this. Adam, real quickly, let people know where they can find you and all that good stuff.
Yeah, me and my brother, we have a podcast called Megadads Live. You can find us at megadads.org, or you can hit me up on Twitter. I am at the Art of Adam L.
And you can follow me over on the Twitters at Nintendo Gurus. And for those that don't know, I am streaming almost every single night. Check me out over on Twitch. .tv/the_Nintendo_guru. That is all. Peace out, Preston.
Bye, Preston.